Happy video day, guys. Christina, Brooke here, and we've got new eyeshadow palettes. So I did a Make Up Your Mind on this just recently, and they launched, and I picked them up. So Huda Beauty released her Brown Obsessions palettes, and I told you guys I would pick up the chocolate and the caramel, so that is what I did. I did not pick up the toffee. It wasn't really my color story. If you guys want to know how I came up with that decision, you can check out my Make Up Your Mind where I kind of run down the color stories. So these are the two that I thought that I would like, so they're the ones that I picked up. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my thoughts, trying it out on my lids for the first time, showing you guys some swatches, showing you guys some comparisons. We're going to get into everything. So if you guys are excited, are you subscribed? Check your subscriptions, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and if you're not, join the family. Hit the subscribe button. I would love to see you again. Let's go ahead, let's get into it right now. All right, so the first thing, let's go over these palettes. So each one of these palettes comes with 9 different shades. They're retailing $29 US each. So like I said before, there is the chocolate Obsessions, there's the caramel Obsessions, and then finally there was the toffee Obsessions, which I did not get. But the outer packaging is actually really cute on these guys. I love it. It has a really cool effect on it that almost makes it look like it's diamonds, but this is not. This is like not diamonds, but it looks like it is, so it's actually really cute. I like the marbleized, like almost like a leopard looking print on the inside. These are those hard compacts that I love when Huda Beauty does. They just feel a little bit more high quality than when she used to do the other packaging, so I'm happy it is in this brand new packaging. These are made in China. They do have 9 different shades inside of them, and let's go over some of the stuff that Sephora says. So Sephora is saying that they're highly pigmented mini eyeshadow palettes that are featuring 9 velvety hues, 4 different finishes that look ravishing on every skin tone. So they are saying that they could take you from a daytime soft look to an after dark, very rich look with the different types of hues that you have in here. So let's first look at the chocolate Obsessions. So if you guys look at this one is the one that's a little bit cooler. It still has warmth to it. I think that this is such a cool looking palette. This shade right here, which is the deepest shade inside the palette, is actually not a true brown. It actually is like a brown with a little burgundy in it, which is why it creates a look that looks a little bit more burgundy brown. I love the shades inside of this palette. I think it's just very, very pretty. You are going to be able to create some really, really pretty looks with this palette, like I can already tell. And then if we jump into the caramel one, the caramel one is where you're gonna go a little bit more orange. You're gonna have a little bit more of like that really warm moment. This is where this palette is taking you. Also has some really, really, really beautiful tones inside of it. You've got some metallics in there. You've got some really deep, rich oranges in there. It's just pretty unique. I don't feel like I see this all the time in Huda's palette, so I was really excited to see this one. The toffee one I think is kind of like a hybrid. It had a little bit of like that yellow tone in it. Also had a little coolness in it. It just to me looked a little bit too similar to my Natasha Denona Gold palette. It wasn't anything so different that I really, really was dying to get it. Let me go ahead and show you guys the swatches. So first, these are the swatches of the Caramel Obsessions. You guys can see all the different colors inside of this. I'm also going to show it to you guys during natural daylight so you guys can see what they look like under natural daylight. And then these are the swatches of the Chocolate Obsessions, and the same, you'll also see them underneath daylight so you guys can see what they actually look like. So now that I've kind of given you guys some details, I am going to start this off with the tutorial because I'm going to do 2 different looks on my eyes so you can kind of get an idea of what direction these palettes can take you, and then I'm going to finalize this with a few little thoughts. Alright guys, so I picked up 2 of the Obsession palettes and they are here. So I picked up the Caramel Obsessions and I picked up the Brown Obsessions. Okay, so I'm actually pretty excited. They both are actually really, really, really pretty. So they look like this. Ooh, look how pretty they are. So let's go ahead and let's do an eye look. I'm gonna do one on each eye. Why not? We'll try them both out and see how I like them. I'm really excited today. So let's start off with this color. Which color? Let's start off with this color right here. That has really good pigment. Add a little bit of this right here. I'm gonna put that on the outer edge and kind of just smoke out a little bit. That's just like a little bit deeper than the other one, if you guys can see. So it does like a little bit like a deeper effect, but they kind of blend into each other pretty nice. But I do like that they do give dimension, so they are different. So I want to kind of just jump into, I want to jump into a lot of them. I want to jump into this color right here. So let's put this in the center. Ooh, that's a really pretty orange. That's really pretty. Then let's jump into this one. Let's see how this one looks. This is like one of those swirly ones. Looks kind of similar to the other one. Hold on. That kind of looked very similar to the other one I just put on. I guess I have to like, I don't know. That one looked really similar to the other one. I see in the swatch, maybe it's different. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of this color right here and just put that on the lower lash line. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of the deep color. I just want to grab this one and see if I can use this to tightline. It has a little bit of like a metallic-y tone to it. I'm just going to put a little bit of this one on at the top as well, just to elevate my eyelid a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to blend out the bottom just a little bit. There is a fly in this room. God, that fly's been driving me nuts. I've been trying to get it out of this room for like ever and it doesn't leave. Look how pretty that eye look. I really like that eye look. I'm liking this eye look a lot. Very, very, very pretty. So I think on this eye, I'm going to try to do something complementary to this one, just using more mauve-ish tones. It looks like this one goes a little bit more mauve-er. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this peachy tone and start with that because I really love this type of color. I'm so happy it's in this palette because I do love these colors. So I'm going to use this one right here. Put this one on the lid. Oh, that's a pretty color. Favorite color in palettes. I love it when there's a good peachy, and I'm so happy that this is a real peachy tone. I'm going to grab a little bit of this deeper color right here and put this on the outer edge. I'm going to do the same thing as the other side. I'm just going to keep it a little cooler. This brown is blending okay. This is like a plummy brown. It's blending good. It's a little bit harder to blend, but I mean, it blends okay. Okay, so then I'm gonna grab this color here that's a little bit, is gonna be a little bit more of like a mauve-y. Yeah, like a mauve-y brown. That one's not showing up as much. I'm gonna try using a brush. Let me try using the brush. I feel like with the brush, it's kind of sticking a little bit more. I almost feel like if you want to do like a higher impact with like this shade here, you may want to spray your brush. And then I'm going to do a lighter color on the inner portion. What I'll do is to kind of like match it a little bit more. I think what I'll do is do the lightest. That's pretty. Okay, so let's go ahead and tightline the bottom. And I'm just going to use the same color. And then I'm going to go in with the deep brown. I'll kind of make them match a little bit more. Now I'm going to just blend it out just a little bit. And there we go. And this is more of like a cool tone brown going into like the mauve-ish side. And then this is like your warm tone. So I think I was able to get the best of both worlds here. So let me go ahead and put on some mascara, finish off this look, and yeah. So here is my final look using both of the new palettes. And guys, I have some thoughts. So yeah, let's get into that. Okay guys, so you guys have seen the tutorial, you saw the intro, you saw everything, you saw the swatches. Now let me tell you guys some of my thoughts. So of course I've only used this one time. I'm gonna be playing with these a little bit more. But what I'm thinking is, there's an interesting concept in each one of these. I do love the color stories of each one of these. I think they're very, very beautiful. I love the orangey theme of this one. I really like that this one here, the chocolate one, almost lets you go in a cooler direction, but there's still some warmth in it. So each one of them has a really beautiful curation of colors. Now, I do think there's a little inconsistency here in the formula from Huda Beauty. There's something a little different about these. What I feel is I typically like Huda Beauty's mattes. I don't usually love them. I usually love her metallics. Like I always thought her metallics were like insane, like one swipe amazingness. Inside of these palettes, I don't think that every single one of these metallics is amazing. I almost feel like they're a little bit more sheer, and maybe the best method of using them is with a wet brush in order to get a little bit more impact. Now that being said, the metallics are still pretty. They're just a little bit lighter, a little bit more glittery, and a little bit less metallic. So if we start off with the caramel one, I'm just gonna tell you like the first shade here, which is this first shade that has the swirl in it, that one I actually was expecting a little bit more color payoff, and I was having a little bit of a harder time. Now it is a very pretty tone, and if you use a brush, I felt like I was getting a little bit more, which is strange because I feel like usually I need to use my fingers with Huda Beauty, and in this instance I found myself wanting to use a brush, and if you really need the impact you have to spray it. The one next to it was a little bit drier as well. It still had a little bit more payoff. It has more payoff than this shade, but it was a little drier than I am used to with Huda. The mattes though were so creamy. Like I felt like the mattes were probably the best mattes I've felt from her, which is strange. They don't swatch as beautifully, but when I was applying them on the lids, they were blending out effortlessly and they just looked really, really pretty. The most impactful metallic in this entire palette is this one down here. This one reminds me of more her normal metallic formula. This one also has some punch, but this is the most impactful one out of this entire palette. All the rest of them are a little bit less impactful than I'm used to for Huda Beauty. That doesn't mean that they're not pretty, they're just not what I expect when I get a Huda palette. So I do really like this palette, I just think that it's going to create a little bit less dramatic lids than I'm used to. If you want to amp it up, wet your brush, and you're going to get a lot more payoff with those metallics than if you're using it dry. So that's something I noticed that usually works different from Huda. I usually don't have to wet my brush with her formula, and I feel like in this palette I did in order to add impact. Otherwise, if you want softer metallics, this already gives you pretty soft metallics. I don't feel like I have this a lot in mini palettes or anything from Huda Beauty in a mini palette that I feel like it's redundant to me. It is pretty different, so I do like that one a lot. Now the chocolate one on the other hand, this one is a little bit more basic. This is something that I feel like we have seen a lot. What I do like about it is something that I noticed when I did my Make Up Your Mind, and I'm so happy that it ended up being what I thought. There is some peachy tones in here that I just think look so beautiful with browns, with rich browns, and I don't feel like a lot of brands do that. Sometimes they'll give us like those taupey base tones, and even though those are pretty with browns, they don't add that punch. And I love that there's these peachy tones. I think that's just gonna add that extra something to your looks as a base tone, so that when you put the browns on top, there's a pop of color. There's something coming out. It's not just a taupe. So that's what I love the most about this palette, is the colors that were put into it. I really think that every single one is really, really pretty. The same as the other palette, I feel like there's only one tone in here that has like that really strong metallic, which is this one right here. All the rest of them are softer metallics than I'm used to for Huda. This one here is just a little bit more glitter and a little bit sheerer of a formula. That being said, I think that the eye looks are beautiful. I think a lot of people are probably going to really like these, because what I do like about them is that if you want to be a little bit more subtle, these give you that opportunity. Whereas before, I feel like when you used one of her metallics, it was like, you know what I mean? There was no going back. And these you have a little bit of an option. You can go a little bit of a sheerer metallic, or you could build it up if you want to. However, I do wish that maybe there was more of the original strong metallic formula in these palettes. I just wish there was. But other than that, I do really like the color stories. I feel like the look that I created was really easy, was very effortless for me to create. So I do think a lot of people will actually like these. I don't know about the toffee one. In my opinion, I didn't love the color story of it, but then again, that is just personal preference on colors. It just depends on what you guys like. But these two to me are actually very, very beautiful. So I think if you pick up either one, you're gonna like them. So when it comes to comparisons, I was able to find one palette per palette that kind of reminds me of each palette. So If you guys are looking at the Caramel Obsessions one, but you own the Natasha Denona Sunrise, there is some similar colors in these two. They are not exact dupes for each other, but there is some pretty similar colors. You're not getting every single one, but I will tell you that these two, in my opinion, are pretty close. And then when it comes to the chocolate one, I looked at a bunch of different palettes, and the only one that I could find is the Naughty Nude. The Naughty Nude actually has pretty good amount of shades in it. This palette ended up going a little bit in a mauver direction than I expected. It does look a little bit like Naughty Nude. Obviously, it would be like an extension of Naughty Nude, but you are getting some similarities between those two. And really, in my collection, there was no other palettes that I could say like 100% looked similar to these. If you like to go in the more orangey, warmer direction, I would say Caramel. So if you want to go in the more burgundy, brown direction, a little cooler, I think, it's a very pretty look, a little bit easier to use as well. I would say go in the chocolate direction, but I like them both. I could see myself using these a lot. I will tell you guys, Caramel has a lot more fallout. I feel like as I was using, maybe it's because I used the metallic that's a little bit more impactful on this lid. I did feel like I had little glitters everywhere, so just keep that in mind. You might want to do your face last, especially when you're using the ones that I said are impactful metallics. They do kind of fall on the face, but anyways, yeah, I like them. I think they're really good. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down below if you picked any of them up, and if you guys like them, leave me those comments. And yeah, until the next time, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Hit subscribe if you haven't already.